This is part 3 of my series, and I changed the title of the series. I think it used to be called Reasons Why I Think Jesus is the Most Beautiful Man. Now I'm just calling it The Man Part 3 because the more I thought about it, the qualifiers aren't needed. Like when you have the right understanding and definition of what a man is, like a man is good, is beautiful, all of those good things. So you don't really need to add those descriptions because they're all contained in the word man. And I use the definite article the because he's the only one. He's the man. It's it. It's just him. Also, I have an off-camera friend, Rami, with me today. And I want to incorporate recent events. So today, Taylor Swift released her TS12 album, The Life of a Showgirl. So that's the theme why I'm wearing my Taylor Swift stuff, or at least shirt and friendship bracelets. So The Man, part 3. I chose this lion because when I googled majestic lion, they had like pictures of lions roaring and doing a bunch of stuff. But when Jesus comes back, he's not gonna have to do anything. He can just show up and people will know. He doesn't have to say anything. Like, he doesn't have to roar. He will, he could. But it's like he could just show up and like his presence is like everything like that needs to be said is said with him just standing there. You know, like just, yeah. This is one of the verses where it really got me like looking at who Jesus is as a man. In John 18, starting in verse 19, when he's on trial, the high priest then questioned Jesus about his disciples and about his teaching. Jesus answered him, I have spoken openly to the world. I have always taught in synagogues and in the temple where all the Jews come together. I spoke nothing in secret. Why do you question me? Question those who heard what I spoke to them. They know what I said. When he had said this, one of the officers standing nearby struck Jesus, saying, Is that the way you answer the high priest? Jesus answered him, If I have spoken wrongly, testify of the wrong. But if rightly, why do you strike me? So Annas sent him bound to Caiaphas, the high priest. And it's just like, all of, like, these aren't little things. Like, have you ever seen a man be on trial and they ask him a question and his response is like, well, go ask them. They heard what I said. I spoke nothing in secret. Have you seen a man do that?
No.
I know. Like, all of these small things, like, how am I going to know when Jesus returns? I'm like, it's going to be clear. Like, all of the people I've seen in regards to, like, trials and meetings, it's like they have the opposite response. It's like, don't talk to anyone else. Only come to me, you know? And, like, these people are asking Jesus these questions, and he's like, I don't have to vindicate myself. Like, they heard me. Just go ask them. And then they strike him. And he responds, if I have spoken wrongly, testify of the wrong. But if rightly, why do you strike me? It's like in this world, people consider it like a manly virtue that if someone punches him, he like returns the punch and like demolishes him. But it's like a greater form of strength to be struck and just receive it and endure it and not be moved by it and just respond like, if I have spoken wrongly, like testify of the wrong. Why did you strike me?
Yeah.
Like, like when someone does that, that's how I'll know. And then I included the in the past, in regards to reviling, I've heard other people reference Acts 23 about Paul when he's standing on trial, and that he reviles the high priest. And there's confusion with that, or differing opinions about why he did that, what it was. I think I heard one preacher say he was using like a prophetic voice or something like that. But I've heard other people say, like, if it weren't for, I want to make sure I get, if it weren't for Ananias being a high priest, that Paul would have been completely justified to call him a whitewashed tomb. I disagree. And reviling is evil. And you can't justify that. And regardless of if they're a ruler or not, you shouldn't revile anyone. So if that's not clear to teachers of the law, I would maybe find a new teacher of the law. And then whenever I see people with authority that can't endure disrespect or suffering, this is what I think of. Do you know who that is? It's Prince John from Robin Hood. And then I included the YouTube video. And one of the lyrics says, King Richard's crown keeps slipping down around that pointed head. And it's like when you have someone in authority that's not able to endure suffering, but they want the glory. Like, that's what I see. Like, you don't have the stature of a man to even like hold up the crown. You can't even like uphold the crown. Like, how are you going to uphold a kingdom if the crown is like slipping down? You can't even bear the weight of the glory of the crown. You can't sustain it. So how are you going to like uphold a kingdom? It's like you can't endure suffering or like disrespectful comments. You just want to like give commands. And I just like that visual, because look at the crown, how it's like
slipping off.
Yeah, and it's like he doesn't have the stature to like uphold it, like the character, the conduct. So I'm saying this because recently someone told me that they didn't think what I did during a meeting one time, they didn't think it was very womanly. And they told me that they wanted me to just think about what they were saying. So I've been thinking about it. And I think they're right. I don't think it was womanly. I think it was manly. And I think it's sad that as a woman, I had to stand up and do that. But also to this person, I want to understand what their view of gender roles is. Like, what does it look like to you to be a man? And what does it look like to you to be a woman? And do you think your actions currently are that of a man? And then I thought of this clip from Jurassic Park when it's like, all the dinosaurs are girls. And then he's like, no, nature's gonna find a way. And it just reminded me of like, it just fits the theme of like a woman having to grow up and like function as a man because there's no men in society. So
it's not possible. If there's one thing the history of evolution has taught us, it's that life will not be contained. Life breaks free, it expands to new territories, and it crashes through barriers painfully, maybe even dangerously, but well, there it is. There it is.
You're implying that a group composed entirely of female animals will breed?
No, I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
So I thought that clip was funny. And then I've been watching maybe every Disney movie. I put this clip of Mulan. Have you seen Mulan? Mm-hmm. Have you seen the live action Mulan?
Mm-hmm.
It's good, right? So then I won't play it, but I put in the video, I'll Make a Man Out of You, for anyone that wants to maybe watch that on their own time. And then I was thinking of, I mean, people might laugh, like, Rebecca gets her theology from musical and Disney, Disney movies. But do you think it's wrong? Like, it's sad that that's where I had to get my theology from. So have you seen Hamilton?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the song where it says "Meet me inside"?
I think so.
It's basically George Washington and Hamilton, and George Washington calls Hamilton inside because he's upset because Hamilton is fighting on, like, starting fights for no reason, but Hamilton thinks it's, like, justified because they were, like, dragging George Washington's name through the mud. He says John should have shot him in the mouth. That would have shut him up. And then George Washington responds and he says, I am not a maiden in need of defending. I am grown. Like, Hamilton thinks he's doing this good work when people are having this smear campaign against George Washington. And George Washington is like, you don't need to, like, avenge my honor. You don't need to defend my name. Like, I'm grown. I'm not a maiden. Like, don't treat me like a woman. Like, you're supposed to defend woman. And, like, when you do this, like, I'm not a maiden, so stop treating me like one. And then Alexander Hamilton, he's like, these men take your name and they rake it through the mud. And then George Washington, my name's been through a lot. I can take it. And it's just so refreshing to see men, like, and it's sad that I have to see it in, like, pop culture and, like, songs and references. I mean, obviously I see it in Jesus, in scripture, but, like, with what our exposure to Christianity, that, I don't know, I don't see it there. So yeah, this person that told me that I wasn't acting like a woman, it was in a letter where he was writing on behalf of a man that's in a higher position, you know? Like, instead of me going to the man in authority, he's having delegates, you know, like, run interference. And this is what that person was doing. So I just don't know what their definition of a man is. And for them to say they don't think what I did was womanly, like, I don't know what you think it means to be like a man. Like, you're not trying to act in a way that's manly. So for you to say I'm not womanly, I don't know what it's supposed to do to me. And then I was listening to other Hamilton songs, and the song "Wait for It." I asked you, but you said you watched Hamilton, so I'm sure you've.
I've only watched it like once.
Have you listened to the soundtrack?
Like a couple songs.
A couple songs?
Yeah.
What do you do with your life?
A lot.
Yeah, I know. You're busy. I know. We're all trying to stay alive. So in this song, it is Aaron Burr, and then I know at the end Aaron Burr's the bad guy. But if you look at this song isolated in and of itself, the lyrics, when I hear them, I just think of Jesus. Like when he says, it's hard for me to say, I'm inimitable. I'm an original. Like, you can't imitate him, and he's an original. And, like, with lyrics like that, I just think of Jesus. Like, there's only one. Mm-hmm. And he's an original. He's the Alpha. He's the Omega. He's the same yesterday, today, tomorrow. And also in the song, he says, I'm not standing still. I am lying in wait. Which I think is so good, because sometimes, like with Jesus, where people are disrespecting him, he's enduring, like, harsh treatment, and people might think he's, like, passive, like, all of this stuff's going on, you know, he's being passive, he's not doing anything, he's just standing still. And they might view that as, like, not being manly. But he says, it's not standing still, I'm lying in wait. So it's not like it's like he's planning. You know, he's enduring everything, he's seeing everything. He knows that eventually things are going to need a response, and he's just, like, waiting for the right time, He's lying in wait. And that theme in and of itself, I really love. Like in recent movies, from like Genesis 49, Judah, your brothers shall praise you. Your hand shall be on the neck of your enemies. Your father's sons shall bow down to you. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, you have gone up. He couches. He lies down as a lion. And as a lion or lioness, who dares rouse him up? Have you seen John Wick?
Part 1.
Perfect. It's just so good because you have that, the son of the Russian, like, mafia, and he thinks that he's, like, entitled, he has all this power, like,
Nothing's gonna happen to him.
yeah, like, my daddy is, the owner of this Russian mob, so you can't mess with me because who my daddy is, and he thinks he can just, like, pick on people, do what he wants. Like, he sees John Wick at the gas station, he's like, I want to buy your car, and just, like, is disrespectful. And John Wick responds in Russia, which surprises him. And it's like, they just cruel for no reason. You know, like, they're messing with his car, they go to his house, and, like, they kill his dog that was a present from his wife passing, and there was no need for that. Like, it's just cruel. It was so unnecessary. And it's like, eventually, like, people poke and they prod, and eventually they, like, cross a threshold, and, like, once you cross that threshold, it's like the point of no return. Like, you've awakened that lion, he's aroused, and now it's like he's coming for you, like, in full force. And that's how Jesus, I think, would plot and plan. Like, he would observe, he would endure everything, he would just consider all the disrespect, the mistreatment, and then, like, wait for the perfect time. And then it's like, once that border is crossed, it's like you've woken him up. So I have this clip.
Give me your son, John Wick. Baba Yaga. Just a fucking car, just a fucking dog. Just a dog. Be gone. When Ellen died, I lost everything. Until that dog arrived on my doorstep. A final gift from my wife. In that moment, I received some semblance of hope. An opportunity to grieve unalone. And your son took that from me. Stole that from me. Killed that from me! People keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. So you can either hand over your son, or you can die screaming alongside him!
Like, that's intense, And then also I included this clip of Forrest Gump. Have you seen Forrest Gump? Shut up. You haven't. You can talk.
No.
She's like doing all these gestures. You haven't seen. Okay. We're gonna watch it when we get back to my house. And that's like another. It's another way. I saw a clip one time, and they were talking about the character of Forrest Gump at the end, where Jenny says that he has a son, and his question is like, is he smart or is he like I am? Because people bullied him his whole life, and he just endured it. And like the whole time, you just kind of think he's maybe like absent-minded, but at the end, it's like he knows like people are bullying him because he's not smart. He has like a decrease in mental faculties, and he knows that's the reason why people are bullying him. But he still like loves them. He doesn't. If people try to fight him, he runs away. He doesn't fight against his bullies. He just endures it. He knows that they do that because they're cruel and he has a weakness and he just moves on. Like, he doesn't fight his own battles. When people try to bully him, he doesn't fight back. So people might think he's like weak, like, oh, he just lets people like bully him, walk all over him, slander him. And then there's this scene when they're at the Black Panther party and Jenny invites Forrest to come meet her friends, and he's there. And I'll just show you.
Blonde man, and get your white ass away from that window.
Sorry.
Don't the pig.
This is my good friend I told you about. This is Forrest Gump. Forrest, this is Wesley. Wesley and I live together in Berkeley, and he's the president of the Berkeley chapter of SDS.
Let me tell you something else. We are here to offer
See, he's
protection
like-
and help for all those who need
They're
our
trying
help.
to talk to him
Because
about
we, the Black Panthers, are against
their
the
mission
war
statement,
in Vietnam.
but
Yes,
he's just
we are
like
against any
locked
war where Black
in
soldiers are sent to the front line
on
to die
Jenny.
for a country that hates them. Yes, we are against any war where Black soldiers go to
And,
fight
like,
and come
once
to be
he
brutalized
sees-
and killed in their own communities.
like,
as they sleep
locked
in their beds
in,
at night.
lying
yes,
in
we are
wait.
against all these racist and imperial dog acts.
like, you look at his eyes, you know, just like full on, like a lion, like he's done, and he just wrecks this guy, like completely demolishes him. Completely wrecks him. And it's like, Forrest isn't even like, that's not even Jenny's, it's not even, he's not even like married to Jenny at that point. He just loves her, and it's not like he's willing to vindicate her, not because of what he's getting from her, you know? It's like he loves her, and it's not based off what he's receiving. And it doesn't matter if like Jenny is officially his girl or not. And it's sad that like the boyfriend, where it's like was receiving benefits from Jenny, it's like he's the one that like slapped her and mistreated her and disrespected her. And I think that's a good example of godly character of men that I don't see in the church today, unfortunately, but I see it in Forrest Gump, so I'm gonna call it out when I see it. And then I included another Hamilton song called Congratulations. I don't think it's in the movie, but it just talks about like Hamilton, just like his character development throughout the movie, and how he doesn't like think things through. It's just like pure act, and he doesn't like consider the consequences or the implications of what he's doing. So I think it's Angelica, she's confronting him. It's when they accuse him of like embezzling money and treason against the government, and they didn't have proof of it, just like it was a rumor. So she said, oh, and his response to that was like, no, I'm gonna clear my name. I don't want people to accuse me of treason against the government, so I'm gonna clear my name and just make known that the money was actually because of an affair. Like, that's treason against your wife, Hamilton. That's not better. That's worse. That it was due to treason against your wife and that covenant. And it's like, it's just when people are so obsessed with like their name, their image, what people think about them, it's like if someone accuses them of something, it's like they have to put in all of this effort and like this force and this exertion of energy to like defend their honor, defend their name, so that people don't disrespect them. You know what? Like, I was thinking the other day, if you're respectable, you can't be disrespected, you know? And it's like, that's what we see in George Washington. That's what we see in Jesus. Like, they're godly men. They're respectable. So when people trash talk them, they're not disrespected. They didn't take any respect. You can't disrespect Jesus. You can't take away respect from him. And it's like, for them to mistreat him, it says more about them than it does about Jesus, you know, because he's good and he's godly. So for you to come up and slap him or strike him or revile him, like, that says more about you, the one who's like doing the evil, than it does about Jesus. So yeah, she says, you took a rumor a few, maybe 2 people knew, and refuted it by sharing an affair of which no one accused you. And then she says, you know why Jefferson can do what he wants? He doesn't dignify schoolyard taunts with a response. And it's just like calling out this like childish schoolyard antics of like name calling and fist fighting and like instead of like growing as a person or as a man and like maturing, it's like you just have to tear everyone else around you down in order for you to appear better. And it's like, that doesn't make you better. It's like, just because you think you've annihilated the competition, it doesn't make you actually any better of a person or as a man. Like, you're still the same person. And like all of this pressure of, you know, you need to show, and yeah, you do need to respect those in authority, but like to what extent, you know, like, and I know it's based off the position and not the character of the person in the position, but instead of focusing on people like validating you, affirming you, using all these titles and treating you like, they're just so focused on being treated with respect that it doesn't seem like they care that whether or not they're actually respectable, you know? And it's like, when you're actually respectable and you have the conduct, it's like you don't need, it doesn't matter. Like, people called him Jesus, you know? They just called him his name. He wasn't like, no, call me God Most High, Son of David, David's Lord, Alpha, Omega. It's not like for those that get their value from like titles, like Jesus owns all the titles, and people called him Jesus. Like, he's every good title, but he doesn't require people to address him or affirm him. You know, I mean, we do out of reverence and respect, but it's not like he requires it, you know? Yeah. So that's my thoughts. I'm waiting for God to raise up a man. I would rather not have to fight my own battles. But if the position was open, well, someone needs to fill it. So if there's no other man that wants to step up and take the position and be a man, and if it's open, well, maybe I'll take it. Maybe I'll take the position if there's no other men that want to fulfill it. And I thought I included a link to this article I wrote about the difference between teaching and reminding. Did I send it to you? Okay. I've been rebuked for teaching so many times. But it's never false teaching, you know? It's never Rebecca's teaching heresy. It's just Rebecca's teaching. Someone, like, stop her from teaching. So I was reading my Bible, and in 1 Peter chapter 1, 12 through 15, he says, therefore, I will always be ready to remind you of these things, even though you already know them. So it's like, and then in Jude, verse 17, now I desire to remind you, though you know all things once for all. And then you, beloved, ought to remember the words that were spoken beforehand by the apostles. So teaching is like you're imparting new knowledge to someone. You're giving them information they didn't have. But reminding is just like making like a verbal reminder of truths that we all confess to.
That you already know.
Yeah. So
You
it's
just
like,
forgot.
mm-hmm. So I would say, I mean, these are just, Rebecca's reminding. She's not teaching, she's reminding. But, so in John chapter 9, when the man born blind, he says, you know, we know that God does not hear sinners, but if anyone is God-fearing and does his will, he hears him. Since the beginning of time, it's never been heard that anyone opened the eyes of a person born blind. If this man were not from God, he could do nothing. And those are like basic truths. And he even starts it with like, we know, like this is shared communal knowledge. This is just a reminder. We know. And the Pharisees responded, they answered him, you were born entirely in sins, and are you teaching us? Like they rebuked him for teaching, but his statement, it was like, we know. Like that should have been a reminder, but in their eyes, they saw it as like teaching. Like he's giving us new knowledge that we didn't have, and they rebuked him for it. And as a teacher, you're just, you're exposing yourself. Like if teachers rebuke you for teaching, they're basically saying, you're telling me something I didn't already know. And it's like, well, if you're a teacher, you should have known that. Like if I'm saying like a truth and you view it as teaching and you rebuke me for it, you're just exposing yourself. Because like as a teacher, that should have been a reminder, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But you're saying like it's new knowledge. And I wish I had that understanding 12 years ago. It would have been very helpful. But I have it now. So for anyone out there that gets rebuked for teaching in the church, there's a helpful tool you can use to respond to that. I think that's it. Yeah. So I'm waiting for God to raise up a man. What's today, Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's all. Happy Tuesday. Bye.